Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Now School District. I'm Ken Manning, elementary counselor. Along with me is our superintendent, Mr. Travis Anderson. Travis, thanks so much once again in helping us bring the Veterans Day program to the air and to all of our fine veterans.
Yeah, we want to thank you too, Ken, for offering your support and all your camera equipment and things like that to be here to help us celebrate Veterans Day. It's a super important day, obviously. We have to do a little bit different this year than traditionally outside, which is great. The weather's beautiful, but we're just thankful all our veterans are able to be here and help them celebrate Veterans Day.
You know, like you said, with the pandemic, we instead of having everybody in the gym, we're going to be lined up behind us here. We're looking forward to that. We had to do, as you mentioned, some special things, but we're going to have some special people presenting today. We've got the choir, the band. A lot of stuff goes on behind the scenes, doesn't it?
Oh, for sure. And we want to thank Lisa Stykes, who is kind of the mastermind behind Veterans Day here at NOW. She's done an amazing job being flexible, coming up with all the new routines for our hybrid Veterans Day program here today. So yeah, everybody's chipped in to be flexible and come up with new ideas, and it's very neat.
You know, Travis, we have something in common in that both of our fathers were in the Army. My dad was stationed at Fort Mammoth in New Jersey, which was where I was born. And so I always finally kind of say, and so does my folks, and my dad, when before he passed away, was, yeah, you're just nothing but a good old Army brat, he said. So, and of course, your father also in the Army.
Yeah, he was in the National Guard during the Vietnam era. My grandfather was in World War II. So yeah, we have a bit of a military history. So I thank them for their service, and I'm just happy they're going to be here. My grandfather won't be, but my dad will be, to honor them for Veterans Day.
Well, we look forward to today. We hope that you will enjoy this Veterans Day program from the Now School District. For Mr. Anderson, I'm Ken Manning saying thanks for watching. Enjoy today's program.
Whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched, were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets at their fathoms bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the
Please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now, Nate DeWitt will be saying, "What is a veteran?"
veteran is a person who fell in love with their country for better, for worse, for richer, for poorer, in sickness and in health. A veteran is a person who is willing to lay down their life for the Statue of Liberty, so that her poor, her huddled masses, her homeless, and her tempest-tossed may breathe free and may enjoy life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. A veteran is a person who does what she must in spite of personal consequences, in spite of obstacles and dangers and pressures, for that is the basis of all human morality. A veteran is one who gets a lump in the throat when she sees our beloved flag, one who will fight to protect our beautiful flag from those who dare to dishonor it. A veteran is one who pays their taxes willingly, serves their country honorably, and cherishes their freedom passionately. A veteran is one well deserving of our appreciation, our love, and our prayers, 365 days a year.
Now, the Brookwood Choir, under the direction of Hunter Everson, will be singing I Hear America Singing, arranged by Sally Albright and Jay Althouse.
I only regret that I have but one life to lose for my country. Nathan Hale.
Land where my fathers died, land of the Pilgrim's pride, from every mountainside, let freedom ring, tis the gift to be simple, tis the gift to be free.
Freedom has its life in its heart, the actions and the spirit of men. Dwight D. Eisenhower.
Tis the gift to be simple, tis the gift to be free.
That is our conviction for our sins. That is our only commitment to Allah. John F. Kennedy.
Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of gray, for purple mountain majesties above the fruited plain. God shed His grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood, from sea to shining sea.
with me we have one of our new staff members, Mrs. Jackie Scaife. And Mrs. Scaife, you were and are a veteran. Tell us a little bit about your experience, your branch, and things of that nature.
All right. So I was in the U.S. Army as a medic. So I served in Fort Hood, Texas, as well as Joint Base Lewis McChord, which is in the state of Washington. I mainly worked in a clinic. Sometimes we did some field experiences, but I mainly took care of like the pilots of Blackhawks and their crew chiefs and stuff like that. So they would come in for physicals and we would do those. I did a lot of like the hearing booths, just a lot of the medical aspect of it, sick call, all of those kind of fun things.
Okay.
So.
And as we take a look, how many years did you serve throughout your time, I guess we'll say?
All right, so I was 4 years active duty and then 4 years inactive duty when I came back to school.
How do you rate your experience in the medical field? And now here you are teaching. What are some of the things that you learned during your time in the military that's helped you here so far?
I would really say patience, for sure. You have to have patience in both fields, and especially doing special ed, patience is a big key factor. Being able to adjust in a minute's notice, because even though I was in a clinic, a lot of times we still were out in the field and things like that. So being able to adjust what you're doing in a moment's notice, because you never know what could happen in either area. So.
If you, some people say, if I had a chance to do it all over again, you bet I would do that. What would you tell students that come to talk to you about your experience? Would that be one of the things that you would say?
I feel like I would. I loved my experience. I actually went in a little bit later. I went to school for a little bit before I went into the military. I probably would have gone in earlier, but for myself, I don't know that I was ready. But when I did go in, I loved my experience. A lot of people think that basic training is horrible, and it is. Don't get me wrong. It's not a cakewalk, but I honestly loved it. Like, I walked away from basic training and my medic training with lifelong friends that I still communicate and talk to. One of my best friends that I met in AIT, which is our individualized training to become a medic, and then we were stationed together in Fort Hood and in Washington. She was actually there for both of my girls when they were born, and we still talk. My kids call her Auntie Haley and stuff like that. So it's those friendships and the camaraderie. You have that in the civilian world, but it's a little different when you're stationed with the people. They become more like family rather than friends, I feel like.
Well, there you have it. And one of our in fact, one of the newest, we'll say, staff members here in the now district, Mrs. Jackie Scaife. All right. But thank you so much for your time, 6 years and plus, in a sense, out there in the military field. That's outstanding record.
Yes, thank you, sir.
All right. Well, let's go back to more of our Veterans Day program.
And now for the parade of local heroes, accompanied.
America's veterans to sacrifice for our country has earned them our lasting gratitude. Jeff Miller.
The only thing that makes battle psychology tolerable is the brotherhood among soldiers. You need each other to get by. Author unknown.
A hero is someone who has given his or her life to something bigger than oneself. Joseph Campbell. This nation will remain the land of the free only so long as it's the home of the brave. Elmer Davis.
We often take for granted the very things that most deserve our gratitude, by Cynthia Ozick. Freedom is never free. Author unknown.
Those who stand for nothing fall for anything. Alexander Hamilton. Thank you for bravely doing what you're called to do so we can safely do what we're free to do.
All right, Veteran by Derek Erdman.
Many stories to tell. We fought for America's freedom in faraway places on foreign land. Wherever the battle for democracy raged, America's finest made a stand. We fought for your future and the right to remain free, for we saw that freedom meant, to those not blessed with liberty, for you and yours. We gladly have given our life. We faced the fears and perils of battle. We faced the endless turmoil and strife. Please remember us veterans and the sacrifices we made for you. Please share the blessings of freedom. Proudly wave the red, white, and blue.
They Did Their Share by Danica Lee.
On Veterans Day, we honor soldiers who protect our nation. For their service as our warriors, they deserve our admiration. Some of them were drafted. Some were volunteers. For some, it was just yesterday. For some, it's been many years. We owe so much to them, who kept us safe from terror. So when we see a uniform, let's say thank you to every wearer. By Joanna Fouche.
The Brookwood Band, under the direction of Nikki Hakala, will perform America the Beautiful / Your Grand Old Flag by Catherine Lee Bates, Samuel Ward, George Cohan, and arranged by Larry Clark.
Well, we hope that you're enjoying today's Veterans Program. We're joined here today in between a quick break with Mr. Paul Olbert. And Mr. Olbert, one of our teachers here at Brookwood High School. Thank you so much for your dedication and time in the service. Tell us a little bit about your branch and how long you served.
Well, I was in the U.S. Army. I was in the infantry. I served 3 years active in the 1980s. I was stationed in Hawaii, and I was deployed to the Philippines and Panama and Japan for a variety of things. Spent a lot of time in the jungle, and in Japan spent time training for winter warfare. So that's what I did.
What's one thing as you look back that the infantry, the military life did for you? What was one big benefit?
Well, I think it taught me some responsibility, and I also think I learned a little bit just about how in civilian life that to be grateful for the people that actually serve, because it's very difficult and it's not really for everyone. And even though I served 3 years, I don't think it was for me for a full 20 or even 30 like some people have done.
If you were to share something or encourage our young folks here, maybe seniors, if they're not sure what to do, if they want to look at the military, what would you say would be an encouraging word that might prompt them to do that?
I think would be to, first of all, you can see the world, you can experience some different cultures, some different ideas, and it can be a little bit adventurous, but I think I'd be here to talk to any of you, and I think that I would suggest that take a look at every branch and see which one's for you. And I would recommend that you find a job in the military that you could build on and could give you experience for life afterwards in civilian life.
I know that that happens with a lot of folks, and they take that ASVAB, which is really kind of beneficial.
Yes, it is, and it'll show you what you could possibly do. And I think that if you do some research, and there's plenty of ways to do that online with the guidance counselor, that it's worth a lot after you're done. You can get a job, and it's a stepping stone. You won't have to pay student loans, and the military might even help you pay for some of your college.
Mr. Albert, we really appreciate your service and your time with the military, keeping us safe, and to come back here and support the kids and what you're doing teaching-wise. Hats off to you, and that veterans program going on out there is pretty interesting.
Yes, and it's a pretty big day for me, and I really look forward to it every year. And it does make you feel good when people say thank you for your service. And I think that this area overall is very patriotic, and you do feel appreciated when it's over.
Mr. Obert, one of our veterans here in the Now District. Let's return back to our Veterans Day program.
Now will be Veterans Day by Bella Erickson.
On Veterans Day, we honor all who answered to a service call. Soldiers young and soldiers old fought for freedom, brave and bold. Some have lived while others died, and all of them deserve our pride. We are proud of all the soldiers who kept thinking of red, white, and blue. They fought for us and all our rights. They fought through many days and nights. And though we may not know each name, we thank all veterans just the same.
In closing, I would like to thank all veterans again. Thanks to the auxiliary and all of the hard work you do. I would also like to thank the band and the choir for their outstanding performances today. Just as we salute the sacrifice of our uniformed men and women, we also applaud the current sacrifices being made by our nurses, doctors, grocery workers, truckers, and all of those people on the front lines against COVID-19. Be safe and take care of your loved ones. Veterans, as you leave the parking lot, there are 2 students down by the lower parking lot who will distribute your delicious Thanksgiving dinner. Thanks for participating in our unusual but heartfelt gratitude program. Please stand for taps and retiring of the colors.
Forward, march. Right face. Retire the colors. And salute. Retire the colors. Left face. Forward, march. Left, march. Up. Left face. Wow. With me is Mark Anderson. I've known Mark for quite some time here from the Westby area. And Mark, thanks for coming over here and being a part of today's program. You know, when we take a look at things, you served, you were in the National Guard?
Yes.
And can you tell the folks the length of time that you served?
I was in there 6.5 years.
6.5 years. So, and that was from
71 to whatever the 6.5 years was. 77, I guess, 77 and a half
okay.
years.
Well, just wondering, so when you served, did you wind up going overseas, or were you pretty much
in
here?
the States. We were headed there, and then they sent us back.
Oh, wow.
So we were headed to Vietnam at that time, but then we got derailed, and they sent us back and sent to another regular Army group.
Okay.
So then we came back. So I was probably very fortunate, and I have the ultimate respect for all the people who fought in all the wars.
Right.
Way worse than our situation. You know,
Yeah.
obviously it's. I wished everybody could understand what the Vietnam people went through and World War I, II, and all the other wars. It's unbelievable, and I wished our youth could be able to be exposed to that more than what they are right now, rather than just in a history book.
Yeah.
Because these guys went through pure hell, you know, in many cases.
Yes.
So, anyway, that's kind of my story, you know, and so I was in the engineering unit, which was all heavy equipment, and so we did a lot of that throughout the state and other places, you know. So anyway, that's kind of what we did.
What's one thing that you took away from your years of service?
The camaraderie with the people, you know, the troops that I was with, and the full-time military people were actually very good, you know. I left with a good experience, had a good experience.
Wow.
You know, almost re-signed up again. I was drafted, actually, right at the time, and then it ended up I got in the Guards right at that time, and of course that's right when the Vietnam War was really getting kicked off. So I was in the fortunate group. We'll put it to you that way.
Yeah. Well, Mark, thanks again for coming over here today to Brookwood, the now school district, and I know you probably have to go and talk with your son, who all of a sudden here he is. He's the district administrator,
Yeah,
so
that's
pretty good.
Unbelievable.
Yeah,
but
you got to support family, right?
Yeah, he just said, "Come over, we're having a program." So here I am.
There you go. So well, thanks again, and we appreciate that, and thanks for all your years of service.
Okay, thanks.
All right, thanks. Mark Anderson here from Westby. Back again, we come here to the now school district. Ken Manning one of the school counselors here, and we just watched a really neat program for Veterans Day. We have a veteran here with us right now, Walter Beck, and goes by Wally quite a bit for most of you that probably know him. And Wally, thanks so much for your service, and tell us a little bit about the time that you served.
Well, first I went to boot camp in San Diego, California. From there, I went to electronics technician school up in San Francisco, California, Treasure Island. And I was in the nuclear field, so from there I went to nuclear power school in Vallejo, California, which was across the bay. And once I got done with the school there, they decided they were going to have too many in the program, so they were going to let me out of the program. And from there, I went and got orders to go to a ship in Norfolk, Virginia, and I spent 2 years on a ship out of Norfolk, Virginia. And once I got out, I spent 2 years in the reserves down in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and that was my career in the Navy.
Oh, wow. What were the years that you served?
From 1964 to 1970.
And what's something that you would, if you could tell the young folks of today, the juniors, seniors in high school, if they're contemplating going into the military, what would you tell them is a real positive for doing something like that?
Well, schooling that I got, I mean, I went in and I knew electricity and electronics because I went to a trade and technical high school out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And so I took up electronics in the Navy. And when I got out, I got a job with Alice Chalmers in the aerospace, and I worked on fuel cells for moonshots and all the satellites that they had out there for the electrical part of it. And then from there, I got a job, and I went and I became an electrician then, and that's what I do now. Retired after 30 years. I worked at A.O. Smith Corporation in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and and then I actually came up this way, and I worked for Train Company for 11 years as an electrician. So, but I enjoyed it.
It just sounds like, and I know this is going to sound corny, but literally, when you're talking about the satellites and all that kind of stuff, your experience helped you. The sky was the limit, in a sense, literally for you.
Oh yes, yes. I mean, like I said, I worked on an air search radar, and you could pick up, aircraft on that air search radar, 200, 300, 400 miles away. Wow. And that was one of the mainstays, is to be able to detect something like that, on a ship out at sea, so if you had any enemy or whatever coming in. So that was the biggest deal.
Wally, I just want to let you know that all of us admire the veterans. We admire what you went through, the experiences that you had, and we appreciate so much all of those things that you've done, and the fact that you're here today supporting not only your fellow military folks, but the program here. Thank you so much for that, and thank you for your service.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Wally Beck and Walter, and we will say thanks to him and all those other veterans out here. You mean so much helping us keep our land free and safe. Thank you for being here.